Good morning, Panos, and thanks a lot for accepting this invitation.
Good morning from my side as well. Thanks for this opportunity. Glomar is an international provider of tonnage for the offshore industry. Currently, we operate 18 vessels, and we divide our deployment into two areas: oil and gas and the renewable industry. Traditionally, Glomar started as a provider to the oil and gas industry, but over the last 2-3 years, we see a shift from oil and gas to renewables, with, I would say at the moment, 2/3 of our income coming from offshore wind farms.
Because you have a very good knowledge about the market and the status and the fleet which is working around this market. Is it true that still we have an overcapacity when it comes to oil and gas?
We have a huge overcapacity, especially on more commoditized vessel types like PSVs and anchor handlers. There has been no essential big amount of scrapping over the last 7 years that the oil and gas industry is on a crisis. And we don't expect the overcapacity to decrease substantially. So we are not expecting for the industry to run out of vessels over the next 2 to 3 years, unless there is a lot of scrapping and all the vessels that are waiting to be delivered are not delivered or are consumed in the internal Chinese market.
But do you think that part of this fleet could be reutilized or absorbed by the renewable market?
Yes and no. A PSV can be converted to everything. We've seen it in the past, and a lot of owners have done it in the past as well. But there is a limit to it. And what we've seen, and it's not really preferred by us at least, is a lot of owners are converting PSVs into the walk-to-work market. So they are taking a vessel from a bad market, the PSV market, and bringing it to the walk-to-work market, which is supposedly the best market for offshore at the moment, and they are destroying that market as well. So taking a vessel from a layup position into another layup position and still spending a lot of money in between is not really the best idea.
Panos, how do you see this new part of the market which may be created by the renewables? I mean, electrification above all will create for sure a demand of new materials, and eventually the offshore mining industry, I think, could create an opportunity for absorbing a new part of this world fleet. What do you think?
I agree with that, but I do think that in essence it will be more new buildings or purpose-built vessels rather than converting an older vessel in order to do something different. For example, for offshore mining, you know that as well, Pino, you can easily convert a big construction vessel into a mining vessel. This is a good idea, but converting a PSV into a walk-to-work vessel is not necessarily a good idea. What I wanted to say earlier, the best thing that might actually happen for anchor handlers, for example, is the floating wind farms. Because now, especially in France, the majority of wind farms are not going to be built on the seabed. They are going to be floating, which means that for anchor handlers, there will be an extra need in specific regions. But it's not necessarily going to mean that all the vessels, the 80 PSVs that are idle at the moment and laid up in the North Sea, are just going to all be converted into mining or to renewables vessels.
Thank you, Panos. Thank you a lot for your contribution and for your knowledge that you were sharing with us. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.
Not a problem at all.